What's up, everybody? I was trying to find parts for a customer's printer and noticed that something wasn't added up. So if you guys are not aware, I don't know how you wouldn't be aware, but maybe you're not. With the whole tariff situation in the US, right now, someone like me who's importing a bunch of products will have to pay 145% tariff on the cost of those goods. Now, you guys ordering individual things from stuff like Aliexpress or Temu or Shein or TikTok Shop, anything coming directly from China, you guys fall into a different bracket. So, as of right now, it's May 2nd. The thing went into effect, I believe, either today or yesterday, but it's in effect now as the time of making this video. There is no more de minimis charge. If you guys don't know what the de minimis is, or not charge, but de minimis rule. And what that meant was, up until these recent changes, if you were buying something from outside the US and it was valued under $800, you would not pay any import fees on it. Okay. That is a very generous de minimis. I do personally think that should have come down, considering other countries have well lower de minimis values, like $100 or less. Like when we ship products out to Canada, we get the Canadians complaining to us about the charges their country is charging. So that de minimis is gone. So how it works now through the month of May is for each item. So let's say, I buy, just a random thing. Let's say I buy these two items from AliExpress, and this one's $10 and this one's $2. Okay. How it works is you will pay a fee of $25 or 30% of the item's value, like what you paid for it. Whichever is higher. So on these items, I'd be paying $25 for each item, right? Not worth it, right? It's kind of the idea here that they're going with. And then in July, that $25 goes up to $50. Okay. So one thing I noticed here is I have a FlashForge M5M Pro here in for repair, and we're looking for a replacement board. Now, I did end up finding one through another site. From a U.S. company that imported them. They had a few in stock. We did pay a lot for it. And I should say the customer paid a lot for it. But this is through FlashForge's official site, okay? Their official AliExpress page. And I know my address and stuff is here. I don't care. It's out there. Anyway, so if we look at here, I'd be paying $79 for this board, okay? Paid almost $180 for it through a U.S. reseller, but they definitely paid tariffs on it. But what's not adding up here is this right here. Do you see this additional charges thing? So sales tax, that's normal. We're in Indiana, the 7% sales tax. But the import charges are $136.75 on a $79 product. Now, if I was importing this and I was paying $79 for this board, which as an importer, I'm buying in bulk, so I'm not going to pay $79 for the board. Maybe it cost me $40 or $50. But either way, let's assume that this is the case, that they're going to flag this as a under the 145%. That only comes out to $114.55 at the 145% tariff rate. But again, since I am a consumer buying directly from a place in China, I am not going to be subject to that 145%. It will fall under the $25 or 30% de minimis charge, okay, or import charge. I don't think it's actually called de minimis anymore. But anyways, if you order something from AliExpress, what should be happening is a 30% or $25 charge, whichever is more. So if we go to further break this down, the item cost is $79. I'm looking over here because I have notes on my screen. The 30% cost of a $79 item is $23.70. Okay. So that's below the $25 minimum threshold, right? So that would then get hit with the $25 import charge. So I would be overpaying this significantly by $111.75. I don't know where they're getting this number from, because as a consumer, you see, I'm not shipping this to my business address. I'm shipping it to myself, right? So that should be the new rule of the $25 or 30%, whichever is more. Now, in June, that $25 goes up to $50. They're doing something shady here. And I did plug this into ChatGPT, and I said, I was like, this seems way higher. And it broke it down for me, right? They said now 145% tariff on 79 would be $114.55, which is correct. Which would be a brutal, but this is import charge they're charging us is $22 more than the extreme tariff. What's likely going on? And this is from ChatGPT, and this based on what I know, this makes sense. They're basically gouging people. So most likely this is not just the tariff. Platforms like AliExpress, Amazon, or even eBay often bundle brokerage fees, customs clearance fees, handling or service charges, and a worst case PATA fee to cover fluctuations or make a profit on the back end. It might say import charges, but it's really a catch-all item. And then I was like, hey, this actually shouldn't be subject to that 145%. It should be the $25 or 30%, whichever is higher, because the de minimis is going away. So again, that means which should fall under an individual importing a thing for themselves, should fall under the $25 fee, right? So they're charging $111.75 more than that minimum charges, and they're just pocketing it. So, and even ChatGPT says this is not a tariff, it's a straight up ripoff or grossly padded import service fee. If this was from AliExpress or similar platforms, they often contract with third-party logistics like Canio, Pitney Bowes, etc., who tack on ridiculous handling fees. Some sellers artificially inflate the import charge to cover their own back-end shipping expenses. And it says, don't buy it. And I agree. So that's the TLDR of this is, and we're gonna go and we're gonna find, let's find something else here. Like here's an IP camera. Well, it took me into some weird thing. I hate their site. Their site sucks. Let's just see here. Here's some calipers. Why is it? I click this and it opens in a new tab. Okay, I'm gonna add this. Here, let's add 3 of them. So let's go to checkout here. All right, so here, look at this. There's no import fees on this. I wonder if this is shipping from the US. I should check that. Is this actually shipping from the US? Like it's already here being imported? Let's find out here. Where the hell is their cart? See, I hate their site. It like puts you in these weird landing pages. Oh, and it's not even in my cart. Okay, that's odd. I don't know. Let's see. Creality 4.2.7 Ford. Let's see. I should be able to find one of those. Okay, here we go. So for $60 here. Let's see. I'm going to add this to the cart. I want to see if it's coming from the US. I would assume it's probably coming from the US if it's showing this tracking. I want to find something else that is coming directly from China, because that's really where you're going to get hit with the fees. If it's already here in the US and they're shipping it from a US warehouse and it was here before the tariffs, they're basically fine. So yeah, it seems to be a minefield of what you're gonna what you're going to have to pay. I don't know. Let's see. Linear rail. If I something that see here, this says US stock, so this won't have those crazy fees. Let's see here. Yeah, this has got a quick shipping time. So I wonder if they just warehoused a bunch of stuff. And that one board I checked. Well, until the stock runs out, that's where the problem's going to be. Yeah, or ships from US, free shipping. Let's see. Let's see this guy. Okay, yeah. So what's probably happening with those other ones is they are sitting in a US warehouse and they had them here before the tariffs, because here's another item here. Oh, it's not, oh, they won't even ship it here, but look here, estimated charges, $228, which is again, the same kind of crazy import markup charges that other board, the Flash Forge board, was showing. So I'm assuming these are going to be popping up more and more, because basically what's happening right now, and why you guys as consumers are not seeing a ton of price increases right now, is all these companies pushed tons of inventory to the US ahead of the tariffs to try to get ahead of them so they can ride it out and see what happens, whether a deal's reached or whether they get changed or lowered or whatever. You guys know what I mean? So once that stock dries out, though, then it's a completely different ball game. Let me see here. Yeah, so this one is probably already imported because we're only showing sales tax, and it's $63 freaking dollars for shipping. So that's expensive for DHL. I ship stuff with DHL. Sorry, I didn't realize. I hate that it opens stuff in new tabs. So this will come DHL, and then you're going to get hit with a bill when this comes through. So DHL will actually get this here fairly quick. And they will also bill you for that $25 or 30%, whatever is more thing. Does that make sense? Yeah. It's a mess. It's honestly a mess, but just be very, very careful. See, this is what it does. It opens this like super deal thing, and I just clicked that. Now it opened another tab. Yeah. Let's see. Where are they shipping this? Oh, it just says courier company. It could be any one of them. So just be careful when you guys are buying it, because like I said, this amount on this, I can't even click the product page. This just says ships from US, so this won't get hit with fees. See, it's just such a just shit show right now. But yeah, so I'm glad it wasn't just that one link to that board. I would expect to see more of that again as the US stock runs out, but also be mindful that if they don't charge you those fees up front, and it's coming from China, you will have to pay those fees when it hits the border. So even if they're not charging you up front, like these other two listings are, and gouging you on that upfront charge, yeah, you're gonna have to pay that fee once it hits. They'll send you if you have a DHL or UPS or FedEx account, they'll usually email you. They'll also send you a letter. Sometimes we've gotten calls, stuff, because I order odds and ends from China that's not through our suppliers for like my personal stuff here and there, but just something to be aware of, and just double check, because again, those two, the examples that I found, the board being the first one, which is what prompted me to make this video, the numbers don't even add up. And if you're just an individual purchasing something directly from a Chinese company, you're going to be subject to that $25 or 30%, whatever is higher on what you paid for that product, right? So, and even at the 145% tariff rate, which applies to people importing in bulk, like we do, big shipments, especially people with containers. We don't order enough to fill up containers. But we usually get like 5 or 6 large boxes filled with inventory. Those will be subject to the 145% tariff. But you as an individual in the US purchasing from the direct from China type shipping stuff, you will get hit, and most companies are probably not going to charge you up front. You will get hit with that $25 or 30% charge per item. Okay. Not the whole value of the order, per item. So if you order 10 $2 items, you're going to be paying $25 on each of those items. Does that make sense? So I'm not saying I agree with this. I'm just saying, like, this is how it works. This is where we're at today. So, but yeah, that's where we're at. This whole situation is just shit. So yeah, let's see. Film Factor saying the $25 applies to the postal service. If AliExpress uses a different carrier like most, it's 145%. Okay, so maybe that's it. They could also be doing a thing where they're batching the shipments into, like, they take everybody's order, put them in a box, and then when they get here in the US, they go to a place, that box gets opened up, and then they send them out. In that case, it would be the 145% tariff. But again, even calculating for that, they're overcharging you by $22 on a, the example of the Flashforge board on a $79 item. Either way, they're trying to make money off of this. It's crazy. So anyways, that's all I have for you guys. I want to do the Ender 5 Max stream this weekend, so keep an eye out for that. I haven't been doing a ton of streams because I've been super busy here. As you guys know, it's just me and Jordan now, and Krista. Krista's been still helping out part-time on the back end of things. But our team is very small. So the videos are something I like doing, and those are unfortunately what gets cut when I'm just overwhelmed and overloaded with tasks to do. So it's the only reason we haven't been doing videos. So like I posted a couple weeks ago when the tariffs took effect earlier in April, we are not ordering more inventory from China. So whatever we have on our site, that's it. If we have to just kind of go into low power mode for a while, that's what we're going to do. I'm hoping that some sort of agreement is reached. I don't know if it will, because both President Xi and President Trump are stubborn as hell. Don't know how that's going to pan out. And after talking to other businesses too, everybody's kind of in this same holding pattern where we're just waiting to see what happens, so that's where we're at. But yeah, so I hope this video was informative. That was my goal here. If I got anything wrong, let me know. I'm not an expert on everything, but something wasn't adding up here, and I'm running all the numbers and like, yeah, that's not making sense. So anyways, I will see you guys on the next stream, whenever that may be, hopefully this weekend. And as always, happy printing, and just be careful when you're ordering from these overseas suppliers, because the tariffs and the import fees are in effect right now. And just make sure you're not overpaying if you guys do have to order something from overseas. So talk to you guys later. As always, happy printing. I'll see you guys on the next one.